Hi, I'm Eden Carey and I'm going to teach you how to create a mask in Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud. I have two pictures here. I took them on my camera and I placed the camera on a tripod. I took this picture of me holding this stick. Any stick prop or any straight line will do for this tutorial. And in the exact same picture, I did not move the camera. I took the same picture of the same background. So two pictures are needed for this particular tutorial. One of the background and then one of me, I'm holding this stick. What I'm going to do with my application, Adobe Photoshop, I'm going to just drag, or I could go into Photoshop and just go File Open, but I'm just going to drag that picture into Adobe Photoshop CC. This is my picture here. I've got my toolbar on the left, I've got my properties and also my layers here on the right hand side. As you can see, this is already blocked or locked. I'm just going to double click it just to unlock that so there's no lock to this layer anymore so I can freely edit it. I want to also add my other layer. What I'm just going to simply do is just grab the other picture and drop it down here. You can see the plus button. It's going to add the photo there. So now I have two layers. I have the background and then I also have a picture of me. As you can see, I can click on the eye tools if I just want to hide one or the other, and also I can click and drag and I can just rearrange these. So this one here at the bottom is my background and this one here is a picture of me. So if I hide me, it's just this. Now, unfortunately, whatever happened with my tripod when I was taking a picture, I must have moved the camera ever so slightly, and you can see that there is movement. So this isn't ideal. So try and keep the camera as steady as possible, but unfortunately I didn't notice the error until I took it to my computer. What I'm going to do is with this layer selected, so always select the appropriate layer that you would like to edit, and you can see on the toolbars how you have all different tools and different options. I'm going to select on the lasso tool, not that we're going to use it, because up here I have the select and mask option. Alternatively, I can go to select on the menu bar and go to select and mask. So there's always different ways to get into the same tool. So with that layer selected, I'm going to go to select and mask. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the bottom half of this picture. So it looks like that stick is just a prop that I'm using to cut out the second half. So it kind of looks like it's a magical stick that I'm hiding behind. You can fiddle around with this transparency. I like to just see myself a little bit just so I know what I'm erasing, whereas I've put it to full sometimes, well then you just can't see what you're doing at all. So I'm just going to play around with that so I can see. Have my toolbars on the left hand side, and I can also change my brush size. So what I can do, if I can go to the lasso and I can just, lasso around and do this kind of thing, or sometimes that's a little bit annoying, so I just go select, deselect to get rid of that. I can go to the brush tool, and that way it's just easier as a bit of a draft. I can use just the zoom lens and I zoom up just to get a bit closer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase parts of this image. So bring that in to add it in. Oops. So I'm just going to go over this really quickly, and then I'm going to go in again and fix it up. So sometimes I use the brush tool just to get the bulk of it of what I'm trying to achieve and get it done really quickly. And then I use other tools such as the lasso tool just to do a little bit around here. You can see it's going to be really straight line kind of thing, but it's good for the stick just to get that straight line. But then I can fix this up when I get to use the brush tool again. and that way I can just make it a little bit more natural. Otherwise, a lot of effort that I can use the actual lasso tool and trace ever so carefully, which on a trackpad on a computer is actually really tricky to do. I'm just going to do that for now, just so you can see what I've done. I'm still missing a little bit from the broom here, but let's have a look. Click OK. As you can see, I am missing the bit of the broom. Do I want to keep that in? That's up to you. But you can see there's a little bit of an outline here, and it's just because, unfortunately, there was a bit of movement with the camera, but I can just move this across, and as you can see, I can perfectly align this back to the picture. As you can see, that's perfect. Maybe a little bit up. There we go. So now you don't so notice the background, it blends in perfectly, that I've realigned that tilt. So I can go back into this again. You can see there's a little mask that's highlighted, but if I just click on the image, go back to lasso, select and mask, I can go back in and I can just use the tool here, and I'm just going to colour all that in. So again, I don't have to trace or anything because I'm just going over the exact same background. So let's have a look again, and look at that. I've got the whole broom in there, and I didn't have to be very careful or anything. So there's two different things. You can use the lasso tool to trace, you can use the brush tool, but being that it's the exact same background, you can see that it looks absolutely perfect. And I can just go back in every time and just fix those little bit of errors that I've got there. So I can just take away little issues. And it's best to just zoom up so you can fix any of those little issues that you have there that I want to. Now I want to like just change my brush size, maybe a little bit smaller, and then just get my whole thumb back in there without getting the clothing in there. So I can go back in and go, oh yep, fix, but then that's still that little bit. So you can just keep going back and forth to fix up all those little errors that you've got there, and having a look at how it's responded. So again, a little bit of the stick that I might want to bring back. So you just play around with it, make sure it's all perfect, and yeah. So I'm relatively happy with that one, and for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to finish this one now. So that's how you use the select and mask. And now what we want to do is finish it off. So we are going to flatten it all. And so we go to layer and we go to flatten image, and it just makes it one whole picture, locks it down to place. So, oops, didn't mean to do that, deselect. So you can see now that I can't move it around anymore. So I've locked it. That's handy if you want to add in more layers. So when you finish your picture, you just flatten it and finish it off. Now I'm just going to go to File, Save As. I can save that as my Photoshop picture, so PSD file, if I want to go back into and to edit it. Remembering though, I did flatten the image, so once I save and it's flattened, I can't actually go in and re-edit those layers, so do be aware of that. I want to save it as either a JPEG or PNG, up to you. I'm going to save it as a JPEG image, and organization, very important. They are linked to the application, so make sure just when you're saving, set up a folder and save it to that location and give it a proper name. And I'm just going to go save. And I can adjust my quality depending on the size that I would like. This because I selected a JPEG, it allows for adjustable compression. I'm going to go OK. And let's have a look. There's my photo. Beautiful. And that's how you do it. Have a go.